Alright everyone, welcome to my round one of Revolutions Custom Magic's Grand Prix, this time GP 7 Tall Square. Still the Custom Magic format, standard like, so rotation and stuff. Coming at you with a post commentary of my game against Dr. Chipmunk. So I'm on white black control. The deck's name is Liz Insanely Better Than Me. Both insane and insanely better. For the record. So this is white black control with a colorless splash for a Stratos Sentry and Zivris Blacklist. The idea is to 2-for-1 your opponent with a Inklight Dancer being a removal and a creature, so you can chum block with it. Stratos Sentry at least trades 1-for-1, and then once you slow the game down, you get to the Planeswalkers of Beautiful Wanderer, Ziv, and Cassia, which you can wander to end up closing the game. There's also some funky stuff with a Lifestone of Being, that gains you life, makes you blockers. If you proc Pact Beyond Death to the 4 defense mode, you can gain some life to make a huge token with it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And this is the sideboard. We'll look at it later. All right. So against round one, I'm paired against Dr. Chipmunk, who did the decklist stream. Their channel will be in the description. They already have coverage of our game because they do it real time. I'm not good enough to play good Magic and record at the same time, so I have to do postcom. They're on red green ramp, so Huskforger Acolytes and some of the best 3 drops in the format in Anomaly, Redeemer, and Reaper, who is technically a 3 drop because you can pay 1 mana. So that's 1 green plus the 1 green for the ability. And then you just ramp it to big threats like Aurora and Spore Spawning, which you can even flashback, and yeah, Shiganimaro Burns, Avalanche, big stuff. So yeah, let's jump into the game. There. Let's go. All right. So game one. Chip wins the dice roll. They choose to be on the play, obviously. And yeah. So let's look at opening hands before I start resuming. Actually, on my side, I have a bunch of 2 drops in Exorcist, Sanctum, and Sovereign's Execution. Also have a bounce land, so that's good because I can curve 2 into 4 and not be impacted by the bounce land. The bounce land also gives me the colorless necessary for Strato Sentry. And I'm glad to just 1-for-1 them until I eventually get into late game. On their hand, we see a single fetch land, another land, so it's probably going to be a mulligan. I say probably as if know, if I don't know it's a mulligan. So yeah. So they go to 6 here, obviously. Um, it's not that easy of a 6 though, because if they drew a land, they would have turn 1 Host Forger, turn 2 3-drop. But if it wasn't a fetch land, maybe you could consider it. It's run 1 of GP, you don't have to take such hard risk for no reason. So yeah. We see the mulligan, they see all the colors they need and 2 harvest times, which you can pay 1 mana to search your deck for a land, so good enough. They probably bottom a harvest time or a land here, both are basically the same thing. And yeah, we're good to go. They don't have the Hellsforger here, though, which is worth mentioning, because that means they can't go 1 into Redeemer into Jetson 3. So yeah, they're pondering if they should keep this without the House Forger, and they end up do keep picking it. They bottom a Harvest Time because between bottoming a Harvest Time and a land, you might as well bottom the color search for a land, unless you're planning to not do anything with the mana like they do on turn 1, because they don't have House Forger and they are on the play, so they don't get to draw for turn. Uh, then it's my turn. I draw my planes. Probably play a Shockland tapped. I have no reason to do anything else. I could Primal Fissure to thin, but this deck does need lands, and I might as well save me the 2 life when I'm against a beat down deck. So let's move ahead a little bit. They just play a land and pass. Nothing to do on their side because they don't have the Husk Forger, nor the Reaper of Blossoms. I draw another turn 2 removal. But it's probably not worth playing here. I just probably run up the Exorcist. Yeah, and fetch obviously to thin the deck. I should get a Swamp here, but I end up getting a Plains. It's my first game in a while, so some misplays. I'm also not the one who made the mana base, so I'm not used to it. They show me Terminal Impact, which means next turn they can remove the Exorcist. If I don't take it, it's yeah, that's fine. I can just take the removal away and keep my 2/3. Um, because I'm not yet familiar with the dynamics of the matchup, and taking away the removal for the Exorcist is probably good enough. But that does mean they can play the Redeemer now. Or the Reaper, I'm not sure which one they play. I would, yeah, I think it was Redeemer. Yeah. So I exile my land, they get a token. Oh, yeah, it's a treasure, right? Not a soldier. Soldier is only for creatures. So this is, I choose a card to exile, and depending on what I exile or don't exile, they get a different thing. I propose to swing for two because I obviously have the Inclined Dancer. It basically tells them I do, but I think that's fine. Um, I can just Sanctum anyway because they don't have enchantment removal in the main. I think here I'm is hesitating between Sovereigns and Sanctum. I decide Sanctum is fine because I don't have anything to bounce yet, so I might as well hit the 3 drop because it won't be able to hit the 4 and plus drop. So I play the bounce land. I have to name a color. It's not. It's colorless plus one of the chosen color, not colorless plus one of any color. We had one that was like this before, but it rotated out, and this was the replacement a few years later. Here we see they don't have much, honestly. They have like gens, and if the Reaper or Blossom sticks, which against my deck it probably won't, they can feed the spore spawning, but that's it. But yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah, I think here they just play gens because they don't have much else to do. Yeah, and probably swing for 4, right? I've basically told them I have the Inclined Dancer, so no reason to keep blocking because their 4/4 will become a 2/2 and die to my 2/3. Obviously they get punished because I also have the Stratos Sentry in my hands. I had all forms of removal that game, so it's you can try to play around some removal, but when they're all so diversified, not much you can do. And Stratos Sentry does get flying because even though the Gens had 4 power on board, when it gets exiled, it just has its base power and toughness. So they draw Huskful draw Acolyte, they play Repower Blossom, get back a land, because might as well take a land. You're not really worried about the 1 life. Here I missed 3 damage, spoiler warning. Um, so yeah, I passed to myself. Uh, play a planes, probably no reason to shock the stock expense. I might as well keep the shock mode for the Sovereign's execution because losing 2 life is better than losing 3. Math. So yeah. Oh, actually, I don't forget the 3 damage. That's not this game. Okay. So I swing with both. Obviously, if they block with a Reaper, um, if I block with Reaper, I can Incline Dancer it away, and they really lose the game. That's why I've not played the land this turn because then I could like kill the Reaper Blossom with the Inclined Dancer, play and Stabbed and Sovereign on their turn if they do anything worth mentioning. But yeah, I just play Wanderer now, flicker the Strato Sentry, and from there on there's not much they can do anymore. Like depending on their draw, obviously, but their only card in hand is a Spore Spawning that they cannot play yet because this is a tapped land in the late game. They can play the buffer Reconservatory, but that doesn't help, and even if they do, you have Inclined Dancer for it. So yeah, I also have another Sentry, obviously. So yeah, it's probably a game at this point. And we move on to game two. I'm going to break up the recording here, take a break, and yeah, see you in game two. All right. So before game two, obviously there's the sideboard. We look at the what we have, what they have. From their side first, I'm expecting the Hungry Blob to come in. Probably not the Advance. At first, I tried to play around Advance and side the Griefer, but I realized most of my creatures have 3 toughness, so the Advance doesn't do much. Tablet doesn't do anything. I don't use my graveyard. Maybe the Cash Thrashers could come in. Maybe the Crumbling Tower. But I'm mostly expecting the Hungry Blob. Since I'm expecting the Hungry Blob, I cannot keep the Laystone because that means they could Hungry Blob both a Sanctum and a Laystone. That would be really annoying. And also the Laystone in general is not really important. Instead, I think I set in the Faces of the Faceless because it kills their anomaly potential. It kills the Aurora land thing. It prevents flashback from the spore spawning, and it prevents abominable avalanche. It does mean that if Redeemer sticks with the faces on board, I will give them a counter, but I think it's fine because my deck is really good at 1-for-1ing. Instead I set in more creatures, so Spectral Griefer, and I think I set in Planeswalkers as well. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure of what I did. That's one of the downsides of post commentary. But I think I set it 4 Laystone and 2 Sanctums, I believe, for Faces, Griefer, and I think all the Planeswalkers. Maybe not only 2 of the Planeswalkers, I'm not sure. Very sorry about that. But yeah, let's jump into game. There we go. Okay. So this time we both keep our sevens. She obviously chooses to be on the play. And this time they have the acolytes. I don't have removal for it on one, so I just play tapped land and say go. Um, that does mean they get their 3 drop of choice on play on 3, and they have the colors for it. So yeah, it's up to them to see how they go. Um, they probably deliberate because they are recording the game, as I mentioned. So explaining to to their game what do they do, and they end up going for Redeemer, which is a 4/4, really hard to answer. Thankfully, I do have the Sanctum of Repression, which answers it cleanly for now. As I mentioned, they are able to kill the Sanctum with the Hungry Blob. Yeah, obviously exiling it. I mean, putting on the stack before exiling it. That way you can get rid of the counters cleanly. So now they can stick another 3 drop of their choice, or Reaper, or Reaper plus Shiganimano Burns, if they want even. Though that does mean they don't get the land of Reaper, but it feeds their graveyard, which is good for Anomaly. Let's see what they go for. They shock in this, so that does mean they go for both modes. I mean, the Reaper plus Shigane. Might as well get all the use of your mana if you can. Mill 3 cards, not relevant. There wasn't even a land, so thankfully for them, they didn't hold mana for nothing. Here I have to play the Jubilant Dogs, else it's going to screw me later on, so I have to play the Inclined Dancer to get the most use of my mana as possible. So it goes on an adventure. I play the Dogs, which allows me to balance the upland Vintage, which is just a land that gains 2 life on entering. It can technically cast Leystand of Being, but I cited those out, so it's not relevant. It's just a colorless land now. And yeah, upload vintage with only 1 card with cycling that has colors, I guess, is kind of crazy, but it kind of works. I wouldn't think about it, but Lee is very good at building their deck, I guess. So let's see. We move on. They discard an anomaly for Shiganuma Burns because they have a second one. They play the land off of it, and they play the blob. Kill the Sanctum, meaning their Redeemer gets to come back. And I don't have a play on 4, which I hadn't realized at this point in the game. So their Redeemer gets to grow, and I can't do much about it. Like here, my options are doing nothing. I mean, just playing the Incline Dancer and potentially sacrificing it, or playing Chronicle and exiling their graveyard. I probably here I passed the turn. My bad. They had one mana open from your treasure, which they could use to get a forest. I should have thought about this first. So yeah, I realized that I passed a little bit too fast. Um, in the hindsight here, so they crack the treasure to get a land. They have two cards in hand, and their board is growing, but I can play Ziv next turn with the upland vantage and the coalesce from the docks, and I can just kill the Redeemer, and they're locked with a like Reaper of Blossom, Hungry Blob, and I guess a Shigenaman Burn that doesn't get card advantage for a while. So here I probably should have played the Chronicle to hand rip them, but I didn't think about it. Thought the playing passive was fine with the Incline Dancer and holding a black mana to sacrifice it if I need to. So yeah, play the Incline Dancer. They do play the Anomaly because their hand is really bad. Um, so they can loot away stuff. Probably looting away the Urban Jungle. They're already color fixed. And here, now's the issue for me. They can play a Forest, play the Earthforger, and buff the Hungry Blob with the Anomaly trigger to get out of range of the Chronicles -2 mode. So the Chronicle really sits in my hand and does nothing now. I'm not sure what I was expecting to be. I think I was playing around the spore spawning in the graveyard because they kind of emphasize on it being a central piece of the deck. So I was tunneling on it, but didn't play around the anomaly. Which I should have because they discarded another one, so I should have expected them to have the second copy. Especially now that the puzzle box token is legendary. Um, So yeah, the Redeemer grows out of hand. They swing 9 damage, which becomes 11 once they exile. I block, sacrifice it, drain them for 1. For some reason, they do +1 instead of -1. Probably into faster. I just call them out on it and move on. That happens. So yeah, the Reaper, get back your lands, they already discarded for Anomaly. And here we can see in the time bar, nothing happened for a bit. Wait, why did nothing? Oh yeah, because I was considering the options and realizing none of them were good. Um, because now I can play Ziv. Indeed, I can play the land, play Ziv. But why do I even exile? If I exile Redeemer, I get steamrolled by Anomaly buffing the entire board. If I try to kill Anomaly, um, I just die to Redeemer. So there's no really good options. I think here I guess I should have still zived and killed the anomaly. But I would die around the next turn, especially because they have a land to animate the Husk Forger into a 5/5. So yeah, I hesitate for a bit, realize my best play is playing Sanaito, plus wanting the anomaly, hoping that Sanaito survives so my opponent makes a misplay. And then plus wanting Sanaito, trying to board wipe. But yeah, at this point my main is already on game 3. There's not much I can do here. So I do play Sanido, sorry for the fast forward. Minus the anomaly, so they can't buff their bot anymore. This is 13 damage, if I remember correctly. Um, I'm also dead, by the way, if they just animate the Husk Forger. I don't have 1 mana removal. They don't end up seeing it. So yeah, I'm also dead in 2 turns to Shigenaman Burn if they swing face. Even if I fully clear their board, I die to SMB. So yeah, they do the math, probably realize they miss lethal, uh, probably realize that it doesn't matter because I'm on 7, they're on 18, and they get an infinite board. I could Chronicle it away, but I only have 1 mana left. There's no 1 mana play in my deck. Now that I started out the Laystone, so yeah, end up losing this game. Moving on to game 3. Again, both keep 7. This time it's more similar to game 1. I have 2 mana hand attack, 2 mana removal. Started Sentry on 4 with the bounce land. upland Vantage to gain the life. Though playing upland Vantage now means that if I want to play Sanctum, I have to shocking stock expense. Oh, and never mind, I can do the other way around. Play Stark, then Vantage. No, that works better. They do have the turn 1 Husquadger here, as well as both two forms of removal. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So played land tapped because I don't have turn 1 plays. Let's see. So play Forest, play House Roger. Here I could kill the Sanctum, but since I just lost the game to them killing the Sanctum, I decide not to go for it. I draw a perfect removal in the Incline Dancer, which answers it cleanly without having to risk the Sanctum of Repression. And again, because if you kill the House Roger Acolyte, this deck really doesn't do anything on turn 2. The best they can do is play Buffer and Harvest Time, and that's, yeah, not doing anything. Which is the issue when you so desperately want to curve one into three. If you can't curve one into three because either the house filter gets removed or you don't get it, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, nothing much happens here. I am free to play the Exorcist to force them into making a play. I would like to hold the Sovereign's Execution, but I can't really because I have to play the bounce land if I want to play straight a Sentry. So yeah, let's play the Exorcist. Let's see what I see. They show me terminal impacts with a magnificent art here. Um, yeah, they show me terminal impact. I decide that if they want to answer it off, I'm fine with that. I might as well get the info while I'm at it. And so I see that Redeemer, Abominable Avalanche have 3 lands. I'm like, okay, if I take off the Redeemer, they have to answer the Exorcist with the removal of their choice, which is fine by me because it gives me a turn. And buying time is this matchup really important. Also have the Upland Vantage to activate the Vigor for Sovereign's Execution whenever I want. They draw Aurora, but not coming till turn 5, so I have a lot of time until then. Here, I think I'm just good to play the Incline Dancer. If I need to, I can bounce it back to hand with a Sanctum later. I draw Ziv, which is shutting the door if they don't do anything. So yeah, I just play the Incline Dancer. Sadly, I have to lose the mana for it because of the bounce land. If I name black, I could have kept the mana, but since I've had a Swen in hand, I decided getting access to double white was more important because I have stuff like Cassia, Shangfa. They play a Redeemer, hit off a land, hit off a, sorry, an Exorcist. That means they get a soldier because I exiled a creature. I do end up drawing a plane, so whatever I chose with the bounce lane wouldn't have been relevant, but it's fine to be mindful of it. Here I'm free to just play the Strato Sentry, hold a black for the Incline Dancer's activated ability, and yeah, just pick off their Redeemer for free. So yeah, and since it's 3 power, the Redeemer just gives my Strato Sentry +1 and flying. Flying being very relevant because they don't have any reach or flying themselves. So I can just hit for free. They get a terminal impact, which is not great here, but they can play Aurora here. Serval 3, hopefully for them, get lands because that means they could terminal impact for 7. Let's see what do they get. I cannot see the Surveil on my POV. You'll have to watch Dr. Ship's video. Taking this moment to take a breath. Sorry. So they mill all 3 cards, which were Shiganimana Burns, Forest, and Reaper. And so they put the Forest from the graveyard into play. Since they paid 5 mana, they can exile the Avalanche to get a Yeti. Thankfully, the Yeti is oh yeah, I remember. The Yeti is a token, so even if I played Shadow Sentry, they couldn't choose it. So I give it back the Redeemer that they exiled, and bounce kill the Yeti with the Sanctum of Reflection and the Aurora with the Shadow Sentry. Um, I integrate into it, realize it's very unclear, so I annotated, but it's really hard to see that it's annotated. Um, my bad. I'm very sorry for the confusion. The reason I don't integrate it onto the Sentry is because it has more than 3 powers, so there's no point. And it's technically more optimal because if you have cards that care about integrate, might as well keep this because the creature's probably going to die. But yeah, this Sanctum of Repression doesn't do anything anymore. So I swing for free because no reason not to. I think I forgot the yeah, that's where I forgot 3 damage. I could have swung first with this and not the ink lights, and then bounced it, but I forgot. So their hand is really rough now. They can cycle the meandering path to try to get something better. And there's not a lot of options on their side. They can animate the buffer conservatory, which at World 2, important. Let's see what they end up deciding for. So first, oh, never mind. They played the path from their hands, kill the Strata Sentry to avoid me bouncing it or flickering it with the Emperor, and then they animate the buffer Conservatory, which blocks my Inklight Dancer forever. Which fair enough. Swing for 4 because this land was played on turn 2, so even if it was just animated, it it's didn't enter this turn. I draw Cassia, so that means a few options offer themselves to me. I tap 2 for a coordinator and see what I get. If I get a land, I can play Ziv and shut the door completely. And if I don't draw a land off of a conservat coordinator, I can just play Cassia and start getting value off of her. And I do see a Ziv, which means I have 2 in hand, so there's no reason to hold back Ziv, except the fact that I cannot play it this turn. So I play Cassia here. I could buff my entire team. I only have 2 creatures. Might as well put a cat into play. I can probably defend her and flicker her with the Wonder ability next turn if I really need to. But I'm content making a token every turn if I need to. So they see Jans, which is good for them. Uh, let's see, what would they end up going for? So they play the impact on Cassia because if I get infinite value off of her, like if I even if I just do -3, then Wonder, they probably lose the game. So that's fair enough for off of them, but that means they don't do anything when they know I have a Ziv in hand. So here I hesitate for a bit because have 6 mana. I could play the Griefer and level it up, but there's also no real reason to do it now because it would debuff my own board. So I decide to go for Ziv, +2, hand rip them, they discard Gens. So I'm like, wow, their hand is really tough. I exile from the graveyard. What do I get? I'm not sure what I get here. Probably Reaper because no reason not to. And I guess oh yeah, I get the Hospital Acolyte because that way my Ziv can tap for mana to hold up a Sovereign's Execution if I need to. Yeah. Oh, I'll leave the Reaper for now. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Because that means I get the Gen's landfall ability as well. So I pass the turn because they have to be the one answering me, not the other way around. Which they can. They can terminal impact for 7. Um, So I have to let it resolve here. I mean, tap for Ziv for mana first, but they choose if you spend 7 mana, it can be an AoE, but you choose whether it's an AoE at resolution, not on cast. So they could have like pretended to ping Ziv for 7 and instead went for AoE. Um, decided not to. Obviously, killing Ziv is pretty good. Oh, actually, it doesn't hit planeswalkers if you AoE. I didn't realize that. Okay, that's cool. Cool to know. But yeah, here they have only one card in hands, a land, and that's it. So I full swing. Oh yeah, holding back the yeah, I hold back the coordinator because that way I can block and sacrifice it with the dancer. And yeah, plus one, plus two Ziv. The second copy just shuts the door. They can poke it with the buffer if they want. Don't really care because it's still a plus two. And here I grab the Anomaly and the Reaper. If I knew they had Anomaly in hand, I would have done it pre-combat. That way I could get the counters. I do mention that it has to be integrated because they just exile it, but no, it has to be integrated. That way Ziv gets both abilities. The mill part and the counterpart from the Reaper. I don't get the puzzle box though because it's not an enter trigger. So yeah, I see both of them. And yeah, mill 3 cards of the Reaper, mill 2 Planeswalkers and an Exorcist. The Exorcist not doing much at this point. They top deck into Spore Spawning, which they could play, but would be awful because I could then play the Griefer. The only other option though is to level up the Reconservatory slowly, like put a counter onto it, maybe tap itself and two more lands to get to 7/6, but when I can 1 for 1 them, that wouldn't be great. They have to swing into also if Ziv survive, I can then 100 the Spore Spawning. So yeah, just Phantom Block, drain them for 1 with the Dancer. They play Spore Spawning here, no, not much of a choice. And I play the Griefer, and yeah. And now the game is basically lost for them. Um, since my Incline Dancer is down to 0 power, I can attack with it, and with the Anomaly trigger, I can put it to 1/3. Oh, and the replay crashes here. Um, that's annoying, but not really an issue. There wasn't much to be. If you want to see the full game, you can obviously go to Chipmunk's channel. But it was a slow grind. They were never back into the game. Like they drew 1 card a turn. Ziv could answer that card in whatever way I choose. I draw a card a turn, so I can answer it. I have Sovereigns and Exhaustive if they hold by the card. I have Wanderer if really I need to. I don't even, but yeah. And it's just a matter of time before they end up dying. Sorry about the technical issue of the replay crashing. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in round 2. Hopefully I see you in the rotisserie draft commentary, which I'm planning to do. For more info, you can join the Custom Magic Discord server. And yeah, see you in round 2.